Imagine a simple vegetable growing quietly in the soil that has the power to prevent blindness, strengthen immunity, and save lives, and yet most of us walk past it every day without a second thought. A simple vegetable can have life-saving power. At first, this idea might sound almost unbelievable. When we think of saving lives, most of us imagine doctors performing surgeries, scientists developing medicines, or emergency responders rushing to crises. The concept of a single vegetable, something we might overlook at a grocery store or pass by in a farmer's market, having the potential to save lives seems almost too simple to be true. They contain vitamins, minerals, fiber, and phytonutrients that the body cannot manufacture on its own, and in many regions of the world, access to these essential nutrients is limited. In these contexts, the impact of a single vegetable can be monumental. Consider, for example, the role that a vegetable like the sweet potato plays in preventing disease. It contains beta-carotene, which the body converts into vitamin A nutrient that is critical for vision, immune function, and cellular growth. Vitamin A deficiency is one of the leading causes of preventable blindness in children and contributes to a significant number of deaths from preventable diseases. A single serving of this humble vegetable can provide enough of this essential nutrient to sustain a child's health for an entire day, demonstrating that life-saving potential is not reserved for expensive drugs or high-tech interventions. Beyond vitamin A, vegetables contribute to the body's overall resilience. They provide antioxidants that fight oxidative stress, fiber that supports digestive health, and compounds that can reduce inflammation, all of which help the body maintain balance and resist illness. The life-saving power of a vegetable is not just theoretical. It is practical, measurable, and accessible. In regions plagued by famine or malnutrition, a vegetable that grows quickly, resists harsh conditions, and delivers essential nutrients can mean the difference between life and death for families. This power is amplified when communities learn how to cultivate and share these crops effectively. The ability of a simple vegetable to save lives is a reminder that solutions to human suffering are sometimes much closer than we think. While technology and medicine advance at breathtaking speeds, the everyday choices we make in our gardens, kitchens, and local food systems can directly affect survival. This perspective encourages a broader understanding of what it means to protect life. It is not always in operating rooms or laboratories. Sometimes it is in the soil, the seeds we plant, and the meals we prepare. The extraordinary potential of a simple vegetable challenges us to rethink our assumptions about power, intervention, and impact, showing that even the most ordinary elements of our world can carry extraordinary significance. Sweet potatoes prevent vitamin A deficiency, and their impact on global health cannot be overstated. Vitamin A is an essential nutrient that plays a critical role in vision, immune system function, and overall growth and development. Without adequate vitamin A, children are particularly vulnerable to a range of health problems, including impaired vision, weakened immunity, and increased susceptibility to infections. Vitamin A deficiency is a silent crisis affecting millions of children worldwide, particularly in developing countries where access to a diverse and nutrient-rich diet is limited. This deficiency contributes to preventable blindness, increases the severity of common illnesses such as measles and diarrhea, and in severe cases can even lead to death. Sweet potatoes, especially the orange-fleshed varieties, are one of the most effective natural sources of beta-carotene, the compound that the body converts into vitamin A. Just one serving of cooked sweet potato can provide a child with more than the daily recommended allowance of vitamin A, making it a simple yet powerful tool in combating this deficiency. Unlike supplements or fortified foods, sweet potatoes are whole foods, providing not only vitamin A but also fiber, potassium, and other essential nutrients that support overall health. Their ability to grow in diverse climates and poor soil conditions further enhances their value, allowing them to reach populations that may have limited access to health care or fortified foods. In regions where staple diets are dominated by grains with low nutrient density, introducing sweet potatoes into the daily diet can significantly reduce the incidence of vitamin A deficiency and its associated health risks. Programs that encourage the cultivation and consumption of sweet potatoes have already shown remarkable results, with children exhibiting improved eyesight, better growth patterns, and stronger immune systems. The importance of sweet potatoes in preventing vitamin A deficiency also extends beyond individual health. By reducing the prevalence of deficiency-related illnesses, communities experience lower health care burdens, higher school attendance among children, and greater overall productivity. This demonstrates that the benefits of this vegetable are not limited to nutrition alone, but also contribute to social and economic stability. Furthermore, sweet potatoes can be preserved, shared, and stored in ways that make them accessible even during periods of scarcity, ensuring a reliable source of life-saving nutrients year-round. Their versatility in cooking allows them to be incorporated into various meals, adapting to cultural preferences while still delivering essential vitamin A. This combination of nutritional density, adaptability, and accessibility makes sweet potatoes an unparalleled tool in the fight against vitamin A deficiency, highlighting how a single humble vegetable can address one of the most pressing health challenges facing children and communities around the world. One food can protect vision and immunity, and sweet potatoes are a perfect example of this extraordinary potential. When we think about foods that support health, we often consider them as supplementary or secondary to medical interventions, but certain foods contain compounds that actively safeguard vital bodily functions. Sweet potatoes are rich in beta-carotene, an antioxidant that the human body converts into vitamin A, which is essential for maintaining healthy vision. Vitamin A plays a critical role in the formation of rhodopsin, a pigment in the retina that allows the eye to detect low levels of light. Without sufficient vitamin A, individuals, especially children, can experience night blindness, progressive deterioration of eyesight, or, in severe cases, permanent blindness. What makes sweet potatoes remarkable is their ability to deliver this nutrient in a natural, highly bioavailable form, ensuring that it is easily absorbed and utilized by the body. Beyond vision, sweet potatoes also play a significant role in strengthening the immune system. Vitamin A supports the integrity of the mucous membranes in the respiratory and gastrointestinal tracts, which serve as the body's first line of defense against infections. In addition, beta-carotene and other antioxidants in sweet potatoes help combat oxidative stress, which can damage cells and impair immune function. This dual function, protecting vision and bolstering immunity, means that a single food can have profound effects on overall health, particularly in vulnerable populations such as children, the elderly, and those living in areas with limited access to health care. The impact of sweet potatoes on immunity is particularly important in regions where infectious diseases are prevalent. Children who consume adequate amounts of vitamin A are less likely to suffer from severe diarrhea, measles complications, and other preventable illnesses. This demonstrates that nutrition can act as a form of preventive medicine, reducing the need for reactive medical treatment and supporting the body's natural defenses. Moreover, sweet potatoes contain other micronutrients such as vitamins C, manganese, and potassium, which further contribute to immune resilience, tissue repair, and overall metabolic function. Their high fiber content also supports gut health, which is increasingly recognized as a critical component of a strong immune system. Importantly, sweet potatoes are not a luxury food; they are affordable, widely cultivable, and adaptable to various climates, making their benefits accessible to communities with limited resources. Their versatility in cooking means they can be prepared in multiple ways without losing nutritional value, allowing families to incorporate them into daily meals easily. The ability of a single food to protect both vision and immunity highlights a profound truth about nutrition. It is not only about satisfying hunger or providing energy, but also about supplying essential nutrients that safeguard life and health, turning ordinary meals into powerful tools for survival and well-being. Grows easily where resources are limited, and this is one of the most remarkable qualities of sweet potatoes. In many parts of the world, particularly in regions facing economic hardship, poor soil quality, and unpredictable weather patterns, growing nutritious crops can be a daunting challenge. Crops that require fertile land, constant irrigation, or expensive fertilizers are often out of reach for small-scale farmers and rural communities. Sweet potatoes, however, thrive in conditions that would challenge most other vegetables. They are hardy, resilient, and adaptable, capable of growing in a wide range of soil types, including sandy and marginal soils, and they can tolerate periods of drought far better than many staple crops. This makes them an ideal solution for communities where resources are scarce and environmental conditions are harsh. Beyond their resilience, sweet potatoes are also relatively low maintenance. They do not require sophisticated agricultural inputs, expensive equipment, or intensive labor to cultivate. Farmers can grow them using simple techniques, relying on locally available resources, which reduces dependency on costly external inputs. Their growth cycle is relatively short, allowing for multiple harvests in a year and providing a continuous source of food and nutrition. This characteristic is especially crucial in regions where food security is fragile and seasonal shortages can have devastating consequences. Sweet potatoes also have a high yield relative to the area of land they occupy. Even small plots can produce sufficient quantities to feed families or support local markets, making them a practical choice for households with limited farmland. Their ability to store well for extended periods without sophisticated storage facilities further enhances their value, allowing communities to maintain a steady supply of food during lean seasons. The fact that sweet potatoes can grow easily where resources are limited also means they empower communities to take control of their own nutrition and health. Instead of relying solely on imported foods or expensive supplements, families can cultivate a reliable source of essential nutrients locally. This self-sufficiency not only addresses immediate nutritional needs but also strengthens resilience against future crises, whether caused by economic instability, natural disasters, or climate change. Moreover, growing sweet potatoes can have broader social and economic benefits. Surplus production can be sold or traded, providing income for families and stimulating local economies. Teaching communities how to cultivate, harvest, and prepare sweet potatoes encourages agricultural knowledge, food literacy, and a culture of health-conscious eating. The ability of sweet potatoes to flourish in difficult conditions demonstrates that nature often provides solutions that are simple yet profound. When a crop can grow where others fail, it becomes more than just a source of food, it becomes a lifeline. It proves that life-saving nutrition does not always require complex interventions or technological innovations. Sometimes it comes from a plant that can endure, adapt, and nourish even in the most challenging circumstances. Affordable nutrition for vulnerable communities is one of the most compelling reasons sweet potatoes are considered a life-saving food. Across the globe, millions of people live in conditions where access to nutritious food is limited by cost, geography, or social inequities. In these settings, families often rely on cheap, calorie-dense but nutrient-poor staples that fill stomachs but fail to provide the essential vitamins and minerals required for growth, development, and disease prevention. Sweet potatoes, however, offer a solution that is both affordable and nutritionally rich, bridging the gap between cost and health benefits. Unlike fortified foods or supplements, which may be prohibitively expensive or logistically challenging to distribute, sweet potatoes can be grown locally, purchased at low cost, and incorporated into daily meals without straining family budgets. Their affordability does not compromise their nutritional value. On the contrary, sweet potatoes are loaded with vitamins, minerals, and fiber, making them one of the most cost-effective sources of essential nutrients available to vulnerable populations. For children, vitamin A deficiency is a critical concern, leading to weakened immunity, vision problems, and increased susceptibility to preventable diseases. Sweet potatoes are particularly valuable in this context because a single serving provides more than enough beta-carotene to meet daily requirements, making them a practical and affordable tool in combating malnutrition. The accessibility of sweet potatoes also extends beyond children to entire households. In regions affected by poverty, food insecurity, or conflict, families often struggle to obtain a balanced diet that meets the nutritional needs of all members. Sweet potatoes are versatile and calorie-dense, providing both energy and essential nutrients in a single food. Their ability to be stored for weeks or even months without sophisticated refrigeration or processing means they can serve as a reliable source of nutrition even in times of scarcity, reducing the vulnerability of families to hunger and nutrient deficiencies. Furthermore, sweet potatoes empower communities to take control of their own health and food security. By cultivating these crops locally, families can reduce their dependence on imported or expensive foods, creating a sustainable and self-reliant approach to nutrition. Community gardens, school feeding programs, and small-scale farms that prioritize sweet potato cultivation can ensure that vulnerable populations have continuous access to affordable, life-saving food. The economic benefits of this approach extend beyond nutrition alone. By producing and selling surplus sweet potatoes, families can generate income, reinvest in agriculture, and support local markets, creating a cycle of health and economic resilience. Affordable nutrition, in the case of sweet potatoes, is not just about cost, it is about accessibility, sustainability, and the ability to provide essential life-saving nutrients to those who need them most, ensuring that even in the most resource-limited settings, communities have a tool to protect health, prevent disease, and foster well-being. Small solutions can create global impact, and sweet potatoes provide a perfect example of how something simple can ripple out to transform lives on a massive scale. In a world where we often search for grand innovations or technological breakthroughs to solve pressing problems, it is easy to overlook the profound power of modest, accessible solutions. Sweet potatoes, a humble root vegetable, demonstrate that the most effective interventions do not always need to be complex or expensive. Their nutritional density, adaptability, and affordability allow them to address some of the most critical health challenges worldwide, particularly in regions burdened by malnutrition, poverty, and limited access to health care. By providing essential nutrients such as beta-carotene, vitamin C, fiber, and potassium, sweet potatoes help prevent deficiencies, strengthen immune systems, and support overall growth and development. These benefits are particularly impactful for vulnerable populations like children, pregnant women, and the elderly, whose health outcomes are often compromised by inadequate nutrition. When communities adopt the cultivation and consumption of sweet potatoes, the effects extend beyond individual health. Families experience lower rates of illness, children attend school more consistently because they are healthier, and adults are better able to work and contribute to local economies. This creates a chain reaction where small improvements in diet lead to broader social, educational, and economic benefits. Furthermore, sweet potatoes are incredibly versatile and resilient, capable of thriving in diverse climates and poor soil conditions. Their ability to grow where other crops might fail makes them an ideal solution in regions facing food insecurity, drought, or the effects of climate change. By empowering communities to cultivate their own nutritious food, sweet potatoes reduce dependence on imported or costly alternatives, fostering self-reliance and long-term sustainability. The global impact of this simple vegetable is magnified through strategic initiatives such as community gardens, school feeding programs, and agricultural education projects. These initiatives not only improve access to essential nutrients but also teach communities valuable skills in farming, nutrition, and food preparation. Over time, these small, localized actions accumulate, creating measurable improvements in public health, economic stability, and social well-being. Sweet potatoes also illustrate the principle that preventive measures can be more powerful than reactive ones. By addressing malnutrition before it leads to disease, disability, or death, communities can reduce the burden on healthcare systems and improve overall quality of life. The ripple effect of one vegetable's nutritional contribution demonstrates that meaningful change does not always require massive infrastructure or cutting-edge technology. It can begin with something as simple as planting, harvesting, and eating a root vegetable, which in turn inspires healthier communities, stronger economies, and a more resilient global population. Small, practical solutions like sweet potatoes remind us that addressing complex challenges often starts with accessible, tangible actions that have the potential to reach far beyond their immediate context, influencing the well-being of millions of people across the world.